Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my review of Everything, Everything. The first thing that I just need to address right off the bat is that this title is terrible. I know that it's based off of a young adult book, but I either would have changed the title or I wouldn't have named my book that to begin with. I don't know, but this title is really, really bad. One of the worst I've ever seen, I think. It's horrible. But the marketing looked decent enough when I saw the trailer for this, so I wasn't completely dreading going into the theater to experience this. It seemed like kind of a fresh, little bit of a new take on like a young adult romance. And leaving the theater, I felt pretty much meh. It was okay. So let's go ahead and start off with the positives within the film. First of all, I think Amanda Stenberg was really, really good. This girl is super charming. I don't know that she got some of the deeper stuff quite right, but she just beamed on the screen. I thought she's a gorgeous young lady, and she has a ton of charisma, a ton of star power, and I loved watching her on the screen. So she completely captivated me, and I thought she did a great job within her role. I also think Anika Noni Rose, who plays her mother, was good. I don't think this was necessarily her best work. I mean, I love Anika Noni Rose, but I do think she was really solid. She brought a lot of grounding to the role and brought a little bit of prestige to the film. I also love that this film was effortlessly diverse. First of all, it completely centers around a young interracial couple without ever drawing attention to that, without ever bringing it up. It's not any part of the plot. They're just two teenagers who happen to like each other, two next-door neighbors that fall for each other, and I thought that was fantastic. They also have a Hispanic nurse who is a wonderful character. I actually really liked the nurse. And so it just is a nice, diverse cast without ever drawing attention to that fact or having race be any part of the story. So I thought that was wonderful and a huge step forward and a great thing for a film targeted at a teenage demographic. I also think that the film and the sets and the locations were gorgeous. I think it was shot really, really well. You know, it was well lit. The shot composition was professional. It was good. And then we got to these on-set locations and they were just gorgeous. So all of the camera work and the cinematography was really well done. Plus, for a teenage romance, I think this movie has plenty of charm to meet the expectations of the target audience. I definitely don't think it goes any beyond that, but I think for teenagers and preteens, they're going to enjoy this story and enjoy these characters. Another thing I liked was the use of communication and these dream sequences or creativity. We're actually seeing that a lot in children's movies, whether live action or animated. I just saw that with something like Boss Baby. We saw that last year with like Middle School, Worst Years of My Life, where these characters kind of go into these other worlds of creativity and they use a totally new way of telling those stories. And this one doesn't do it in animation, but she uses her creativity to just kind of create these worlds because she's so sick she can't go outside. It just kind of shows how your mind has to like create these situations when your body can't physically go. And I also think that the premise behind it is interesting, having this autoimmune disorder that literally means you cannot leave your household. But I kind of think she was too normal. I think for being her entire life in this house, she was too well adjusted. She was too just your average girl. I would have actually liked to see more of the story of this person and what they're dealing with, having lived all 18 years of their life stuck in one house and literally never being outside of those walls. So that would have been a more interesting story to me, but the kind of base premise to set up this romance is a good starting point. That is where my positives end, and we get into some of these negatives. First of all, this script is kind of cringy. Oh, there are so many bad lines in here. And part of that, I think, is chalked up to the actual book it's based off of that put these words of dialogue in here. But part of that is also the adaptation, because I think a lot of what's done in the film would work really well and it reads really well in book form, but it just doesn't read well when you translate it and have it spoken. So I think that they should have censored a little bit what they were doing here. And I think that's a lot of the problem with these young adult books, especially the ones that have to deal with some sort of romantic subplot or plot, that they translate everything and it just doesn't work. I also question Nick Robinson and his future in Hollywood. So he is a very attractive guy. He fit the mold of, hot teenage boy, next door neighbor with the horrible long haircut. Again, I know they like to give these guys that kind of long, shaggy hair. It didn't work for him in particular. I don't know who was in the hair department, but his hair was just terrible. But he's so flat in everything I've seen him in. He just doesn't emote almost at all. He kind of just has one facial expression. I don't know, you just can't connect to any of his characters in any of his films, from Jurassic World up through this current one. So I really think Hollywood is trying to make Nick Robinson happen, because he kind of looks like the young teen pop stars like Shawn Mendes. I think they really look alike. But the charisma and the acting skills, they're just not there. He wasn't distractingly bad, however, it was kind of a blank slate. Anyone could have played that role. I also think that the mother's character needed more development. We are made to believe that she's kind of a hard-nosed mother, doing what's best for her kid, but also really loves her kid. And we get small shades of that. Like, it does feel like she loves her daughter. But then she just is so unrelentingly strict that I wish we had more shades to this mother. I wish we had more development to her. And then we get into a twist near the end that I did not predict until right before it happens. You kind of forecast it coming. But that twist also needed more development. And all of that revolved around the mother's character needing more development to make it really hit home. And then to bring the emotion afterward. And then, when our main character decided to put her own health at risk, it didn't feel right or believable to me. It just felt like 0 to 100 without any sort of real steps on the in-between. We do see a couple of small steps, but it's just like, oh my gosh, okay. It's okay to start experimenting or trying to live your life, but did you really need to go all the way over here? So I think that sends a bad message of not just live life and try these things and you have to experience. It sends a message of be reckless, endanger yourself, throw all caution to the wind and just go for whatever, whether or not it's a good idea or not. And I have to say, I just wish we had more time. That seems to be my personal underlying issue here, is that we just kind of move through everything so fast. So we move through their relationship building phase so fast that we never really understand all of the nuances of why they like each other. We move through every single stage of this just so quickly that we never get the development we want, we never get the development we need, and then that final act after the twist wraps up just like that, and it's like, oh, okay, I would have liked more here. I wanted more of this content as well. So this could have used an extra 30 minutes of runtime. It's like an hour 40, so I think it would have greatly benefited from just that little bit extra runtime to help flesh things out, go a little bit slower, and really develop all of these different characters and relationships. So overall, I think for a young adult romance adaptation, this is mostly adequate. Unfortunately, I do think that there are too many problems to overcome to really recommend this. It's just riddled with too many issues for the charm to fully take over and get you swept up into this teenage romance. So I would say give this a rental. I don't think you need to pay theater prices at all to see this one. but I think especially your kids will probably enjoy it if you just rent it from the Redbox and watch it on a Friday or Saturday night with them. It's not a waste of $1.50. So, that has been my review of Everything, Everything. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below, and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on our latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see Everything, Everything? And what is your favorite teenage romance film? Let me know either in the comment section down below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your support. Mwah. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!